All right, perfect. So first thing we're gonna do is just a little bit of review. I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly. So if you have like, if stuff doesn't make sense, just like come back to it after session because we won't be covering too much new stuff today. So basically, yeah, we're gonna go through variables, if else statements, stuff like that, and then we're gonna go through. We're gonna cover tuples quickly for those of you who are, especially if you were in the beginner sessions from like a previous semester, but if you just have like Python knowledge, you probably know what, you might know about tuples and the dot operator as well, but just bear with us. Okay. So yeah, first things first, if else statements is just like pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if some condition is true, execute the statement under the if statement. Otherwise, print the if the first condition is not met, then just print the second statement, right? Okay, you can also use the else if keyword, and just like I guess one thing to remember is it always checks in order from the top to the bottom. So even if you have like two conditions that are the same, they'll still be like if more than one condition is true, the first one that gets executed, like the first one that is met is executed. Right, so yeah, this is something, especially if you don't use Python that often, like make sure you don't, the equal operator is like, setting a variable to something, so like x equals 3, but double equal sign is when you're comparing. This one's like importance. Okay, so now we have our first quick question for review. So then you just want to go on to Top Hat and enter the join code. Uh, no. Also, who's a moderator for this session? Because I think I don't have access to the Top Hat thing, so.
Sounds good. I'll try to work this out.
Okay.
We might have to skip it for now and maybe come back to it.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Okay. Um, Let me screen share again. Okay, so we're gonna skip the. Also, if I'm going too fast, someone can like say something in the chat, but I'm just gonna be okay. So next up we have lists, and I think like they can be used for a lot of things, lots of functions that you can call from them. Like right now, I'm gonna assume that this is everyone already knows this stuff, so it's just kind of like a refresher. Okay, can someone else like everyone else can hear me, right? Okay, so if it's yeah, okay. So TZ, if something's like if the mic's not, well, I guess he couldn't. Anyways, 1 second. Where is this? Right, so back to lists. The main thing to remember is like the index, just it starts at 0. So like the first value of the list is 0. And okay. These are like some useful functions that you can come back to this later, but you have like append, remove. I mean, I don't really use remove, but basically I think it removes the first instance of a matching value from the list. So as you can see in this example, it's like if there's a B in the list, then like remove it, right? And clear just empties a list. So, right. Okay, so there's basically, once again, like two types of loops you probably remember. The way the for loop works is it basically, I don't know the exact terminology, but it's like when you say for item in shopping list, it sets for each iteration, it sets one item in as the item, I suppose. And then it moves on to like each next item. So basically in this example, it's like first it sets eggs to the item, like you can call it anything. So this variable, whatever it is here. And then for each subsequent iteration, it goes through each item in the list until it reaches the last one. So if you've ever seen like, the range function, it kind of just creates a list of numbers. I mean, that's not entirely correct, but you can just imagine like whenever you do like for I in range 1 to 6 or something, you can imagine like this range function creates like a temporary list that's just like, numbers 1 to 6. Okay. While loop just runs like until the condition is met, right? And I guess do we have quick questions ready yet, or do we continue moving on?
Okay, I'm gonna try it out here.
Okay.
So the top hat code is 474451 as shown on the screen there.
Oh, should I allow?
And I think if you just bring it back up on the screen, because it contains the
All
question.
right. Okay. I think there is like a timer on the top hat thing, but I do not know how to show that as well.
Yeah, there's a 1 minute timer.
Okay.
It was 2 minutes, but it's now at 1 minute.
Mm,
And since this is maybe the first top hat question, maybe I'll just extend it by another 30 seconds. I see some people are trickling in
Okay.
to the top hat queue, so
Oops. Okay.
all right, we got 5 out of 5 answered, so that's great.
We only have 5 people today? I feel like we have more than that. Someone.
Yeah, of the people who answered the top hat.
Yeah, if anyone's having like difficulties with top hat, maybe like just mention something in the chat so that we can access it. Cause it's definitely good to get the ignite points for these questions, try and answer them. Okay. In the meantime, let's go on to functions. Like why functions? Well, it makes the code easier to reuse. Okay. So we have basically the function name, you have the parameters, which you can like use. So there's kind of like variables that you pass into the function, and link. Yes, you can actually find the links on the website. Like you just go to Schoolic. You can search up Schoolic Ignite, or sorry, it's schoolicignite.com, and then you can navigate to the Flare sessions and send you the slide link this time. Okay, so for functions, I wonder if there's an example. Yeah, okay, there is an example, right? So I just go back to, so then you can have like a return value, which is optional. If you don't have a return value, then you just can't like, if you try and like print the function or something, you'll just get the some like Python object. But if you have a return value and you call the function, then it'll actually return whatever you make the return value, right? So basically, here's an example where we have the parameters we pass in, and then you have, so if you're to use it, it's pretty self-explanatory. You say add 1, 5, right? So your parameters that you pass in are 1 and 5. 1 becomes A, 5 becomes B. Then you just return the sum, which is 6. Okay. Yeah, okay, I already went through that. Okay, we have a third quick question. And we can also do we can go back to the first one as well, but let's do this one first. So yeah. Okay. Mariana will. I think we'll try and figure out maybe during breakout rooms or something. Okay, Tony, can you like set up the top hat for this
Yeah, it's
question?
live.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I can't see this stuff. Yeah. Is anyone else having trouble with top hat? Because I'm pretty sure we have much more than 5 people, so. Nope.
Up to 7 now.
Okay.
All right, 7 out of 7 answered. We're good to go.
All right. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I wish I could see the results. Okay. We'll figure it out. I think if you can screen share the top hat, maybe you can do that next. Oh yeah, do we want to do the first quick question as well? Or is it missing? Tony?
Sorry, muted. Yeah, it's open now.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to, yeah, is there like a thing that shows whether it's like which one's right or wrong or no?
Yeah, I can share it on my end.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. I will go through the other two that we already did. Um, 1 second. Did you get me chromed?
All right, 5 seconds.
Tony, do you think you can share the top hats thing to just like,
Yeah, it won't show the results. I mean, it'll show like how many people answered in which category. So let me get my screen up.
okay, sure, might as well. And I will, oh yeah, I think I'm supposed to cover the answers. It's been a while. Okay. So I'm gonna assume the answer is D, but let's quickly just go through. So the first one, right? Oh, I have to screen share again.
Yep, start sharing.
Okay. Boom, boom. Yeets. Okay. Yeah, so first question. If your numbers for the value is 5, result store as number times value, so that's basically 20, right? Divided by 2 plus 4. And I'm pretty sure the order of operations apply. Wait a second. Yeah, okay, the order of operations should apply. So it would be 20 divided by 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, which means it's not greater than 25. It is less than 20, so it should print the result less than 20, which I assume was D. I didn't get a quick look at it, but yes, it says, wait, no, I think you should print both of these, no? Yeah, actually, the result is 14. It would print that it's less than 20, but it would also print that it's greater than 0. Because these aren't else if statements. I don't know. Okay, wait, I'm pretty sure it was. Guys, can someone quickly tell me what the so-called like the option that most people answered was? Because I think these are supposed to be else if statements, but otherwise the answer would be like it prints less than 20 and then it prints greater than 0.
Yeah, that was the most common picked option. Less than 20, but greater than 0.
Pardon?
Yeah, it was the most picked option.
Okay, so it's both of them, right? Okay. Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it. So the second one, basically, like I said, each iteration of going through like the traffic lights list, we set the one value to the light, right? So basically, first time it's like red. If the light is red, print waiting, right? Second time it's red as well. Third time we go through like we iterate through the traffic lights thing at green. So it would be 3 times because red appears 3 times. And then this one is basically there's no return value. So if you try to store like print value, you're just gonna get like function. I don't know exactly what it says, but usually it'll be like some function at blah 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 blah. It's like a function object basically. But if you have like a return value, so like return lots of returns, then you're gonna have this return value as the output of this function. Okay. Boop.
And everyone got the answers right for both 2 and 3, so good
Alright,
job
that's
on that.
good. Yeah, I know the first one is a bit tricky. So this is the so-called new stuff. I'm gonna assume most people have actually seen something about tuples before, but tuples are basically lists that you can't change. Because once in a while oh, my camera's off. Okay. Basically once in a while you'll have certain things that you like never want to change. So you can put those into tuples. They're also used in Pygame for, I don't recall maybe for like color values, I think, in some of the built-in functions, because they don't want you to change stuff by accident, so they'll have tuples. Okay. And so you can manipulate tuples in the same ways as you can lists, except for the fact that you can't change them. But I'm pretty sure you can add, yeah, you can add items to a tuple if I remember. Someone can test that. Sorry, I'm rusty with these. I don't use them often, but You should be able to add. I think you can still use like the append and stuff. But there's no like modifying contents. I might be wrong about adding, so I will quickly look it up. But the exercise, are we gonna have breakout rooms? Let's see. Yeah. I think we can just do this in like the main session. It shouldn't take too long, but basically, actually okay, we can have breakout rooms for like 10 minutes probably. Basically, your challenge is to write some code to find and print the smallest x coordinate in the list of coordinates. So basically we have a list with a bunch of like tuples. And for those of you who like don't remember the way you access like a list inside of a list, you can do like item 0, or maybe is it 0, right? If you do that, you would access the first item in the list and the first item of that tuple. So it would be this is like referencing 22. So yeah, that's your hint. And we can do like 10 minutes breakout rooms and then back to session.
Sounds good. 10 minutes opening up.
Okay. Great. So yeah, first thing about the tuple, you can't actually add or remove items from a tuple. So one of the things you can do is you can actually convert it into a list. I think you can just do a list and then like, or sorry, that wouldn't be. But if you have like a tuple, you can run the list function on a tuple. I'm pretty sure you can do that. I can actually check. Yes. Yeah, you can literally just make a tuple and then use a list function on a tuple, right? And then you can like have a new variable assigned to the tuple, but as a list. Anyways, yeah. I guess I can go through like a super quick solution. Do you have my code editor? But I think I'll just do like pseudocode. You would do something like for x in, I guess for coordinate. I'm just gonna assume most of you got it, but just for those of you who didn't, in coordinates, right? So for every one of these, coordinate, oh my God, C pair. I'm just gonna call it C, okay? Set lowest. So maybe you wanna say like, okay. I'm not gonna go through all this, but basically you wanna have a variable like lowest equals 1,000, like something big, right? And then you say, for every coordinate pair, like check the value. So check C0, that would be like the first value of, so right, C is gonna be setting this each coordinate pair to C as we go through the coordinates list. Each one of these pairs is gonna be set to C, right? So first it's this, this. So this is gonna access the X value. You just wanna say like if this is like smaller than the lowest one, right? Then set lowest to this new X value. And then at the end, your whatever this lowest is going to be the lowest one in the list, which should get 18. Okay. Yeah. Now we have the operator is like you kind of already saw this with the lists, right? But the dot operator is a way to call functions like built-in functions on objects. So like in Python, the list is, I'm pretty sure it's like I think it might be a class. I've actually never looked at this, but it's like okay, I'm gonna call it a type of object, right? So there's actually a bunch of built-in functions. Like you use some of them. There's append, there's remove, there's like split, there's a bunch of things, right? And so the way you can call these functions is you use the dot operator. You can also do this for like custom-made functions. So example here is sort of like if you have if you create like a dog class and then you have a left front paw, I suppose it would actually be not necessarily a function, but you use the operators to access like parts within a class, I guess. It's like if you have a big box and you want to access like sub boxes within that box, then use the dot operator, and each dot operator kind of brings you like deeper into the tree, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. So you can have like the main function, like you have I mean, the example is pretty self-explanatory, but you have the dog, right? And then you have like each of its feet. And if you want to access like what functions are available to that foot, then you have to type like, oh, left front paw, right? And then you have like the move. You can have like multiple. Pygame uses quite a few. So yeah, you can just think of like the dot operator going like deeper down a tree. It gets more specific, yeah. Okay. Also, if anyone ever has like questions, you can always just like throw them in the chat, and like one of your mentors like, or one of the mentors can just answer. You don't have to like wait until the breakout rooms. Okay, right. So we're gonna quickly touch on dot operators in Pygame. So in the case of Pygame, like the dot after Pygame is like, okay, from the Pygame module, right? Or sorry, not module, library. From the Pygame library, you want to access, say, the initiation function. You want to access the image sub-library. I don't know the exact terminology, but you know, from this sub-library, use the load function, right? And so that's basically what the dot operator does. So now more about Pygame. What I want everyone to do is also, if you don't have Pygame yet, make sure you check the session 0 slides and just install it. So I think the fast way to do it is you just go into command prompt, or it's terminal if you're on Mac, and you just do pip install Pygame and should get you Pygame. So that way you can actually import the library. Okay, so what you want to do is just like go to this link here. Basically copy and paste all the code and just rename it to main.py. Okay, you want to click on this, right? Copy and paste everything, put it into a file called main.py, I guess, and then that way you can follow along. Okay. Can everyone just like, whenever you're finished grabbing the file, just like put something in the chat. Actually, I'll do it as well because I need this blah blah blah. Okay, am I showing my whole screen yet? I don't think I am. Okay. Whole screen. Open, make a new file. Python file. So yeah, basically you just want to copy and paste your code into here, right? I'm gonna be doing quite a bit of screen switching, window switching from here, but okay. Can I just get an affirmation in the chat from once everyone's finished whoops. Once everyone's finished pasting the code into the VS Code. This is assuming you have, actually, even if you don't have Pygame, you're okay, but you ideally want to have, okay. Kaylin, we got one person. I'm gonna wait until like, I don't know, at least half of you say you're done. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna assume that some other people have also pasted the files in, but if you, for some reason, you don't have the VS Code set up or something, or you don't have Pygame, then no, you can just follow along here. But you definitely want to get that checked soon. So basically we split the code into 4 sections. We have the setup section, the events section, update, and we have a draw. So basically, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, try not to edit the code. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna quickly check this. Okay, I can go through it on the VS Code itself. Yeah. So basically, in the setup session, we kind of prepare everything. Or you can kind of think of it as like preparing the window before we actually open it. So you have like global constants. So like what size is the window going to be, right? Frame rate. So how fast is it going to update? And we have the colors. So this is just like a shortcut so that you don't have to enter the RGB coordinates, but you don't actually need this part. Okay. So now this line basically creates the window. So you're setting like a variable to this window to like pygame.display.set mode basically creates a window and then makes this line makes the alpha bits transparent. And clock is like you want to initialize this because then it'll give you a way to like track how fast your game is running, stuff like that. Or maybe you want to like have some feature that reloads after a certain amount of time. Then you have the events section. So I guess you can think of this as like the whole program. The program itself is, I guess, I mean, the entire thing is the program, but the game loop, you can think of it as this one. And what the events section does is like really in here, it's for every, so event in Python, an event is generally like mouse movement, mouse press, keyboard press. I think that's about it. So those are examples of events. And basically this line just says like if someone presses the X button on Pygame window, like quit and close the program. Like if you don't have it, then I think you just have to kill the program from VS Code itself, which is okay. And then here we have like checking for key presses. Okay. So the way that this works is that it gets you like, this returns like a list of all of the press keys. And if keys press pygame.keyup is basically saying if this, like this actually returns like a number, like pygame.keyup, there's like a specific, yeah, it's a constant, right? So basically it's like if this constant that represents the key press key up is in the list of keys that got pressed, then execute this function. Then you have mouse position. This just like gets you your mouse position. You can do stuff with it. Mouse buttons, right? Mouse press. It's very similar. Then the update section is for like all of your game logic. So I guess maybe it's like figuring out gravity or figuring out like how many coins the player has or what the player's score is. And after you update, then you want to draw, right? So after it's like, okay, the player's new position is like, I don't know, 100x, 100y, then you draw it. And the one thing about like draw, you have to like pay lots of attention. Always make sure like everything you draw is after the screen dot fill, because screen dot fill basically fills the entire screen with black so that you don't have like, I'm not sure if you guys have ever had this before, but like if you don't, fill the background every draw iteration, then you have like a moving object and it'll just like leave a trail and of copies behind it, right? Because the previous copy is not being erased. So that's why you want to have the screen.fill. But that means all of your code, like all of the stuff that you want to draw, you have to draw it here. Draw it here, right? Otherwise, you would just be like, oh, why isn't my rectangle showing up? Well, that's probably because you put your draw function like before the screen.fill. So let's see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, so the last part is pygame.display.flip is like one of the main ways that they update the screen. Like if you don't have this, the screen's not going to update. And this, I believe. Okay, yeah, so clock.tick, as we like initialize we made a clock object earlier, right? basically a set clock to pygame.time that clock. You can think of it like creating a clock object. And you can run like one of the functions is you want it to maintain frame rate, basically. Obviously, if your computer can't like support a ridiculously high frame rate, like clock.tick is not gonna make it suddenly work. But generally, if you want to like slow things down, or if your computer's like lagging, then I'll try to bring it back to where it's supposed to be. Okay. Right. So screen.fill, for example, you can you pass in like a tuple. So that's like one of the instances where tuples are used. Because if you use a list, it just won't, it'll be like, why are you trying to pass in a list? So that's like usually colors are represented by a tuple. Let's see. Actually, you might be able to pass in the list. I've never tried it, but just stick with a tuple if you don't want to have any errors. Right. So next, what we're gonna do is, I only got one person confirm that they're actually being able to follow along, but we're gonna make a rectangle, and let's see. Right. Okay. So I think at this point we can. And I'll quickly run through these 3 slides over here. Then for everyone who doesn't have Pygame or working yet, make sure you get that fixed in your breakout rooms. So yeah. Well, another thing that we have basically is, okay, sorry. Yeah, so you can create like rectangles, like one of the many, it's like a built-in shape, I guess. So you can just use the pygame.rect object that basically stores information about where and the size of a rectangle. So yeah, one important thing to note is like pygame.rect doesn't actually draw a rectangle. So the way that you use this is you basically pass a pygame.rect object into the draw function. And the draw function basically takes, there's 3 arguments, right? There's the screen, so which sometimes you can do like kind of advanced, but sometimes you might have more than one screen in like advanced programs, which maybe there's like the map section and there's like an inventory section. So, but anyways, in this case, we're generally only gonna have one canvas to draw onto. So the screen thing is, it's the one we initialized at the beginning, right? So like, okay, screen equals pygame.display.set mode. And then you have color and you have your X and Y coordinates, and you also have your width and your height. So one thing to note about this pygame.draw function is you can actually pass, I think it's either a tuple or a list in the place of the rect. And instead of pygame.rect, you can actually pass in like the values directly. So you can just be like 0, 0, 50, 50. But the reason that you want to use pygame.rect is because it has built-in functions, right? So for example, you can access like the x coordinate of the rectangle with the dot operator, right? Or you can access the y coordinate with, you can access height. You can also access like, the midpoint and the corners and stuff. You'll have to look into Pygame documentation. You can just quickly search up Pygame documentation, right? It's this one, and you can see everything that Pygame's like rectangle object does for you. So that's why you want to use it instead of just like hard entering like 4 numbers. It's much more flexible. So honestly, what you could just do is you can literally just copy and paste this code into Pygame, or not into your file. Make sure you paste it underneath the screen. Oopsie, my bad. Yeah, so actually you want to make the rectangle object in the setup so that it doesn't keep on getting like reset during the game loop. Same thing with the red color. And then you want to draw a rectangle here. Also, in case you guys are wondering for indents, you can just highlight and press tab to indent. You can hold down shift button and press tab to dedent. You can also control / to like comment stuff out, right? So if I wanted to comment this out, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna have the rest of our session is just gonna be like time for you guys to do the exercise. So basically you want to make the rectangle move around, and then the bonus is you can make it like bounce once it hits the size of the screen. And also, like I said, everyone who hasn't got like Pygame working yet, make sure you get that sorted in your breakout rooms.
Should I set it for 15 minutes?
We can do 30 because there's nothing else. This is the last thing.
All right, sounds good. 30 minutes. Opening up rooms now.
Okay, great.
Hey, Nicholas, I'll assign you to your group. Hey, I can reassign you back to your group.
Okay. Yeah, so that basically concludes our session. If you weren't able to figure out the exercise in the last 30 minutes, you can first of all get onto the Discord server if you aren't already, and then you want to set your group to you want to join like the group that you're in with your mentor. So how you do that is you type group set Wednesday for the cohort time, and then you just type your group number. So I think you should have gotten an email as to which group you are in. If you're not sure, you can quickly like message your mentor on Slack, not Slack, sorry, in the Zoom meeting right now if you're not sure which group you're in. So yeah, join the Discord. That way you can reach out to your mentor and like get help on the exercise or like anything Python, or even like if they know other coding languages, you can ask them, or if you want to talk to them about, university or something. You also just want to be on the Discord so you can talk to them, right? So yeah, get the let me find it. I'll send a quick join link right now. Invite people. So I'll send the join link in the chat for anyone who has not joined Discord yet. So make sure you do that like right now. And like I said, join your group. What else? Yeah, so when you're ready to submit your exercises, that is out of date. Okay. Okay, sorry, the exercise submission link is still not up yet, but it should be up in like a maybe day or two, hopefully. So you can just tell your let's see what we can do. Okay, I guess the best thing I would say, just check the website after a couple of days, hopefully. Nope. Yeah, so what you want to do, maybe in like 2 or 3 days, just go to the Schoolic Ignite website again. So you just search Schoolic Ignite, first result is the website. In the top, you want to click the drop down for student link, and if you press submit dash Flare, it should bring you to the Flare submission form. Like right now, it's not up, but it will be up soon. That's how you can submit your exercises. And also there was like a scoreboard link on the last slide, so you can see like how you're comparing, what your progress is. So yeah, let's see. And that's it. So you're all free to go now. And like I said, join the Discord so you can talk to your mentors and join the group as well. So. One more thing, I guess the exercises are due like a week from when you get them. So yeah, if Yeah, so everyone's free to go now. I guess if you have like